Hello viewers, welcome to Science TV News with me, Ben WERANGAI, and my voicing interpreter, Irene Chibiwot. Let's focus on our 7 p.m. news. President William Ruto has called on the Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, to treat Kenyan taxpayers respectfully during tax collection, emphasizing that citizens' support for the government warrants such treatment. This statement comes in the wake of a recent incident at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, where a couple encountered issues regarding the taxation of a wedding gown, leading to KRA's subsequent apology. However, KRA argued on its X app that the wedding dress exceeded the $500 duty-free limit, valuing it at $2,000, thus making it subject to customs duty as per their regulations. Under KRA's new guidelines, items valued at or below $500 for each traveler are exempt from import taxes, while those exceeding this threshold will be taxed. KRA has faced criticism for its efforts to levy taxes on personal and household items carried by travelers.
KRA, I am sure, now knows that it is possible to be courteous, kind, and gentle to taxpayers, and at the same time become even more effective and efficient in tax collection. I am sure they know that.
KRA fully acknowledges its profound responsibility to provide taxpayers with a conducive, efficient, and effective platform for tax payment and compliance.
I want to reaffirm our commitment to reforming our process and culture to deliver high quality and user-friendly services to our taxpayers.
For wish to assure our visitors and all travelers to this country that no new taxes have been introduced and that the process of our entry points is smooth and diplomatic, and the customs officers of the KRA have been instructed to ensure this remains the process that is also seamless and should not mishandle our visitors and travelers.
It's very important to recognize that if we have a restrictive environment that goes against your message out there that Kenya is open to do business, that we can come here visa-free and do business for the Republic of Kenya, maybe those people might choose to go to other countries, or our brothers, the hardworking brothers and sisters in the diaspora who bring so much money in terms of remittances might not feel so much happy to come back home.
Body should threaten KRA using their positions, using their connections, using their power for them to avoid paying tax. We must all pay tax. A while ago, the conversation was how much of the debt is allocated to even children who are not yet born. Public debt. I am happy that this time round we are having a conversation about not debt, but taxes.
We cannot and we shall never be fully independent until we are able to independently fund our government and our budget through our own resources raised in the country.
KRA surpassed their first quarter generation of taxes by 45 billion shillings, equivalent to 8.4% increase in revenue growth. And this is truly recommendable.
We shall continue working together and intensify our revenue mobilization quest that will ensure that we adequately finance the country's budget and support the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda better for a sustained economic recovery and a sustained economic vibrancy.
As a government that believes in accountability, we must give the institution of the Auditor General's Office the necessary capacity leeway and latitude for them to hold every government agency and every government ministry and the whole of government accountable to the people of Kenya through audits, and make sure that we spend the people's money efficiently.
On to our next
I am sure now knows
CS Eliud Owalo has introduced a new initiative focused on empowering women economically. He delivered this call to action while presiding over the launch of the Professional Association of Nyanza Women in Kisumu County. As the patron of Professional Association of Nyanza Women, CS Owalo encouraged ambitious professional women from the Nyanza region to play a pivotal role in advancing equal participation for women in the nation's economic development. He urged these accomplished women to take an active stance in the journey towards sustainable economic growth and the prosperity of the Nyanza region. CS Owalo recommended that they utilize their diverse knowledge and experiences to inform other women about available opportunities. Furthermore, the association is highlighted by Owalo will provide organized and structured leadership to offer guidance and support grassroots women in creating viable business plans and connecting them with financiers and markets.
In our youth, ladies,
it is edifying and most encouraging, ladies and gentlemen, that we are gathered here today to witness our women taking the initiative to jump the region from inertial paralysis of lamentation to the edifying promise of majestic heights of sustainable economic and human development.
and I think it's super important not to be afraid, not to be worried about failing. You've got to try, and you've got to show the world that you can do it. And my experience is every time I put a woman in a job at my companies that I ran, they were worried, they weren't sure they could do it, but they did an amazing
To our next news. The Media Council of Kenya is calling on accredited journalists to formalize their certification or potentially face arrest. David Omoyo, the council's CEO, emphasized that those practicing journalism without accreditation will be excluded not only from their profession but also from various benefits reserved for accredited individuals. He stressed the illegality of practicing journalism in Kenya without proper accreditation, emphasizing that accredited journalists gain access to benefits like training, story writing grants, and press freedom protection offered by the Media Council of Kenya. Omoyo also encouraged journalists to uphold values such as accuracy, transparency, truthfulness, and the do no harm principle. He reiterated the Council's commitment to protecting journalists' rights, ultimately benefiting Kenyan citizens.
We hope that they will enhance professionalism, because when you create a conducive working environment provide the facilities for working, research and collaboration, we will have more quality content coming out, because information is power. I am very glad that the County Commissioner says that you work very closely. Bwana Commissioner, pia unaruhusu mnakosana from time to time, si mbaya sana ile ya kutusiana, ile watu wanakusana kidogo kidogo. It's part of collaborating to share information and then holding each other to account from time to time. But we undertake that we will do our best to improve the facilities, provide additional working spaces, because also kama 17. But ideally, I noticed that in SIA we have about 50, only about 17 are accredited. We will lock them out now. It is illegal to purport to practice journalism without accreditation, isn't it? Because then you miss a few things. You have no access to training. You have no access to journalism and story writing grants, which the Media Council offers from time to time. But most importantly, you lose the press opportunity in exploiting the constitutional dispensation that we had from the proclamation in 2010. Previously, under the old constitution, there was an article which was dealing with the freedom of expression, and it more or less ended there. And if you look at the provisions of that retired constitution, the expression of the the provisions relating to the freedom of expression were subject to certain conditionalities, which in a sense made that freedom extremely limited. It was like you give her the right hand and take it away from the left hand. But if you look at the current constitution, the freedom of expression is crafted in very expressive terms and obligatory terms, mandatory.
On to our next news item. The Senate Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights is advocating for compensation from the British government for the descendants of Mwindi Mbingu, a colonial hero who suffered historical injustices. The family is seeking compensation for 80,960 cattle allegedly forcefully taken by the colonialist. JLAC recently visited the Ngelani Chiefs camp in Machakos, empathizing with the Akamba community's harrowing experiences in 1938. The community claims that British soldiers killed their cattle and subjected men to physical abuse, including castration, leading to a lost generation. Senator Hilary Sigei, the committee chair, emphasized the need for legislation to address compensation for those affected since 1938 and urged the Kenyan government to pursue justice on their behalf. On to our next news. Efforts are in progress to establish 2 new bases for the Kenya Coast Guard Service with the aim of maintaining law and order in Lake Victoria. The Ministry of Interior has announced plans for these bases in Homa Bay Town and Fangano Island. A KCGS base is already operational in Mbita Town, Suba North constituency. KCGS officers stationed at these bases have the responsibility of ensuring the security of Kenyan fishermen by conducting patrols in various areas of the lake within Kenyan territory. Many Kenyan fishermen have consistently voiced concerns about harassment from the security authorities of neighboring countries during their fishing activities. Uganda and Tanzania security authorities have been accused of arresting Kenyan fishermen and imposing substantial fines for fishing in disputed areas, sometimes resulting in the destruction of fishing equipment. Raymond Omolo, the Principal Secretary of Interior and National Administration, announced on Friday that measures are being taken to address security challenges in Lake Victoria.
One of the issues that the people of Pagano asked the President to deal with is the issue of insecurity in the lake. Now we have the Kenya Coast Guard Service that is under me, and we gave our commitment that we'll be establishing an additional point for the Coast Guard Service on the island. Already there's a process of doing a similar point in Homa Bay, but we need to do that for this island so that we take care of the biggest challenge that we are having of insecurity for our fishermen. We also have the team that works with me in the office, and in this region there's Madam Regional Commissioner, the RC, Flora, and her team. There's a regional security team as well as the county, all the way to the village elders. And so far they have done a commendable job in helping coordinate government programs. And I want to plead with the residents of Pagano to give them all the necessary support.
Fishermen na wamama, Fishland ambayo itakuwa na cooling facility, mnafanya processing ya samaki, mnachukua barafu, kuna mahali yenu hapo ya kujipanga kama wavuvi na pia wamama, na ita cost over 100 million.
On to our last news item. Students at Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University, Siaya campus, staged a protest in Siaya town, briefly blocking a section of the Siaya Kisumu Road. They were demonstrating against security issues stemming from an incident where an intruder was found in the girls' hostel. Despite initially handling the situation themselves, the students were dissatisfied when both the intruder and security personnel disappeared the next morning. They demanded a new security firm and cited recent thefts of laptops and cell phones as reasons for their distrust in the current security provider. Local officials called for vigilance groups to assist the overwhelmed police force in addressing rising insecurity.
From Siaya. Yesterday we were attacked in our hostels. Our boys rescued us, and then the person was released by the security. We want the security to be changed.
I'm a student by the name Ujuru Simunure. I'm from Siaya campus. Sasa unajua kitu ilikuwa mbaya, hiyo kitu ilifanyika jana usiku. Kitu ilikuwa mbaya ni moja. Ilikuwa saa 7 ya usiku. Simkae tu pole pole. Msichana, a student kama mimi, anapigia mimi simu. Eti sababu bwana mko wapi? Simkuja na timu tusaidie. Hakuna pesa hapa ndani hostel ya wasichana, unapata? Hiyo ilifanyika hostel ya wasichana. Eti kuja mtusaidie. We don't have peace. Unajua nini? Alafu naamua nachukua mtu wangu mmoja, Black Temper, nachukua mtu wangu Black Temper moja. Na tunaandamana watu wawili. Unaona? Kufika hapo ndani Kufika hapo ndani tunakuta ni kijana mmoja. Nasikia walikuwa wawili, mmoja naye hatukuona. But tulimpata nani? Mmoja. Tukatandika. Huyo mmoja tulitandika, hata picha yake iko hapa kwa simu, tulikapta kila kitu. Yes. Picha yake iko hapa ndani. Yes. Picha ya huyo mwenye sport. Sasa tumetandika vizuri.
Insecurity. How can an intruder get inside here? We accept that people do get here, even students come late hours. Maybe we can say that they assumed it was a comrade. But why is it that if we found out that it's not a comrade, is someone whose intentions are bad, we are giving to them, and then they are telling me that these people, as from 1:30, this person was okay, but reaching 5:30, this person started showing signs of that he's about to die. Someone cannot die at 5:30, and we said that at 6 a.m. we are going to call the administration to come here so that interrogations can be started. We want to see if the watchmen here are always in a deal, in a coordination with these people who do attack us. We are losing so many things. Power! 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 I'm Ezekiel Omondi, a third-year student.
That's all we had for you, our viewers. Thank you for watching Science TV. You've been with me, Ben WERANGAI, and my interpreter doing the voicing, Irene Chebiwot. Please don't forget to send us a message, comment, like on all our social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube. And thank you to Donald for planning well. Have a good night and goodbye.